Ever wondered how some of the most game-changing inventions came to be? You might be surprised to learn that many were discovered entirely by accident. Today, we are diving into incredible discoveries and inventions that were created by mistake. Our story begins in 1928 with Alexander Fleming, a Scottish bacteriologist. Fleming returned to his lab after a vacation and found that a petri dish containing Staphylococcus bacteria had been left uncovered. A mold called Penicillium notatum had grown, and to his surprise, it had killed the surrounding bacteria. Before the discovery of penicillin, the world was a much more dangerous place. Even the most minor bacterial infections, such as a simple cut or a sore throat, could quickly become deadly. People lived in constant fear of infections that, today, we barely think twice about. Common illnesses like pneumonia, strep throat, or infected wounds often led to agonizing deaths, as there was little doctors could do to stop the spread of bacteria within the body. Hospitals were filled with patients suffering from infections that modern medicine could now easily cure. But back then, their prognosis was often grim. Families were torn apart as loved ones succumbed to diseases that we now consider trivial. Death was a certain outcome for many, with no cure in sight. But all of that changed with a single serendipitous discovery. Alexander Fleming's accidental finding of penicillin marked the dawn of a new era in medicine. Next up, the invention of the microwave oven. In the 1940s, Percy Spencer, an engineer at Raytheon, was working on radar technology when he noticed something peculiar. Spencer's curiosity sparked a journey of discovery that led to one of the most revolutionary inventions in kitchen history, the microwave oven. The invention was accidental. While working with magnetrons, the core component of radar systems, Spencer noticed that a chocolate bar in his pocket had melted. This unexpected discovery led him to experiment with microwaves on different foods, eventually leading to the first microwave oven prototype. Initially, these ovens were bulky, costly, and found mainly in restaurants and industrial kitchens. The first commercial microwave oven, the Radarange, was nearly 6 feet tall, weighed over 750 pounds, and cost around $5,000, an enormous sum at the time. Despite these drawbacks, the promise of rapid cooking times attracted attention from the food service industry, especially for reheating and thawing food quickly. However, as technology evolved and prices dropped, the microwave oven underwent a transformation. By the late 1960s and 1970s, advancements in technology led to smaller, safer, and more user-friendly models. Not all inventions start with grand intentions. In 1968, Spencer Silver, a scientist at 3M, was actually trying to develop a super strong adhesive for use in the aerospace industry. But instead, he stumbled upon something completely unexpected, an adhesive that was surprisingly weak. It didn't bond tightly to surfaces, yet it had a unique quality. It could stick to things, be removed without leaving any residue, and then be reapplied. For years, Silver struggled to find a practical use for this low-tack adhesive, but the breakthrough came when his colleague, Art Fry, saw its true potential. Fry was frustrated with the bookmarks he used for his church choir sheet music, which kept falling out. That's when he remembered Silver's invention. Fry thought, what if I could use that weak adhesive to create a bookmark that stayed in place but didn't damage the paper? He began experimenting with Silver's adhesive on small pieces of paper, and soon the idea for the Post-it note was born. At first, the idea seemed simple, even trivial, but Post-it notes quickly revolutionized how people worked and communicated. These sticky notes became a staple in offices, homes, and schools worldwide, providing a convenient, portable way to leave reminders and messages without damaging surfaces. What began as a failed attempt to create a strong adhesive turned into one of the most iconic office supplies, proving that even the smallest inventions can have a major impact on our daily lives. In 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was experimenting with cathode rays, curious about their properties. While working late one night in his dark lab, he noticed something peculiar. A fluorescent screen across the room began to glow, even though it wasn't in the direct path of the rays. Röntgen realized he had stumbled upon something unknown. Intrigued, he tested various objects, discovering that the rays could pass through solid materials like wood and paper. But something remarkable happened when he placed his hand in front of the screen. The shadowy image of his bones appeared. This accidental discovery was the birth of X-rays, a groundbreaking form of radiation that could see inside the human body without cutting it open. Within months, X-rays were being used to locate bullets and diagnose fractures, revolutionizing the medical field. What started as a strange glow in a lab became one of the most important tools in modern medicine, saving countless lives and earning Röntgen the first ever Nobel Prize in physics. Sometimes, nature offers the best ideas. In 1941, Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral was taking a walk in the countryside when he noticed that tiny burrs from plants had latched onto his clothes and his dog's fur. Curious, he examined one under a microscope and found that the burrs were covered in hundreds of tiny hooks that easily clung to fabric loops. This simple, natural mechanism gave him an idea. For the next decade, de Mestral worked to replicate what he saw in nature, eventually developing two strips of material, one with tiny hooks and the other with loops. When pressed together, they formed a strong bond but could easily be pulled apart. He named it Velcro, a combination of the French words velours and crochet, meaning velvet and hook. Velcro went on to become a game changer, used in everything from clothing and shoes to spacesuits, proving that even the smallest detail in nature can lead to a major innovation. Some of the most life-saving inventions happen by accident. In 1956, Wilson Greatbatch, an engineer, was working on building a heart rhythm recorder when he made a critical mistake. While assembling the device, he grabbed the wrong resistor and installed it. To his surprise, the circuit pulsed rhythmically, much like a human heartbeat. This unexpected discovery sparked an idea. Instead of simply recording heartbeats, what if the device could regulate them? Greatbatch realized he could create a device small enough to be implanted in the human body that could send electrical impulses to help control heart rhythms. After refining the design, Greatbatch developed the first implantable pacemaker, a revolutionary device that would save millions of lives. What began as a simple engineering mistake turned into one of the most important medical devices in history, transforming the treatment of heart conditions forever. If you like our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get instant updates when we post.